before we start good and proper, do you guys have any questions for me in regards to your characters or anything that happened last week that you're unclear on?
Got this picture from Allie.
Oh
No,
yeah,
I
the
think
picture
I'm
from
good.
Allie.
Yep.
Yay, with Mila
Yeah, wee!
falling all the way down.
Wee! Fun
Whee!
time!
Mila, your
For
jets! Oh my!
19.5 miles. God damn it, Mila!
I
You've
love,
entered terminal
I love
velocity.
how that. I love how that played out. Like Al's perfect. Al's like probably the whole time he's thinking about okay, fire jets now. Mila's just
Yeah.
Wee! She likes to have
Almost
fun.
crashes to the earth.
She likes to have
Yes.
fun.
Great. Well, when we last left off, you guys managed to find the path that one of the previous um, previous members of L Zone Prime, a fellow named Peyton, you managed to save him from being kidnapped or captured by these strange DB creatures called Dai-Yil. You're able to retrace the path and where they kind of took him to, and you were able to find your damaged behemoth. Although some of your equipment was still on the behemoth, it looked like it had been lived in, and it also looked like it had been evacuated in the sense that much of the weapons and armor that was on board the behemoth is now missing. Bear is currently keeping an eye on all the tracks, trying to find out where these individuals go. And when we start the session, I'd like to say that Bear, after a period of about 5 minutes or so, he is able to say that he's been able to pick up the trail, that it was quite easy, and it looks like it is approximately a dozen or so human tracks that are leading off to the southeast. I also want to make a note for those of you who are in the Rhapsody, the spaceship that is hovering above the tree line. You're able to see now in the distance. You can see a small path um, of which the behemoth made when it was traveling through this forested area. Oddly enough, you pretty much were moving southwest of the town, but the tracks themselves aren't going southwest. In fact, I'm going to drag you guys over to the overall map so I can kind of just, and if you guys want to zoom in to Winter's Outpost, I'm going to just kind of just draw very roughly the path that it was making. So this red dot is where you found the behemoth, and you would expect, if they're going from Winter's Outpost, it would be a straight line, right? But the problem is that it is not a straight line, not even close. The actual path is more along the lines of it continues from the south, it weaves around like so, and then disappears into the mountains beyond your view. But what this implies is that they were going a very scattered and wavy course, something very, very counterintuitive, as if perhaps they were trying to shake some sort of tail. But after you guys are able to take stock of what has been missing or not missing from the behemoth, uh, Bear approaches, and I believe it's Tom and Al that are on the ground. Correct?
Yes.
yes.
But his report will also come through on the radio. So, of course, Patrick and Mila will be able to hear this as well. Bear says, as I get into my bear voice, they were moving very rapidly and unable to really cover their trail. This shouldn't be very difficult to follow. Should we do so?
Yeah. I'm gonna jump into this, and he's gonna point it to the Mystic Power Armor. It shouldn't take too long, maybe a couple of minutes.
Are you going to just store your body armor on the behemoth?
Yeah, I'm just gonna leave the network armor on the behemoth.
I was gonna say if you're gonna do that, maybe we can Actually, GM, was the Reparo droid still around?
It is there, but it's not a Reparo droid. It's a Northern Gun light labor bot,
Mm-hmm.
and it is deactivated. But yes, it is standing in a corner of the main room.
Okay, I would say something like, we need to be able to get the behemoth up and moving as fast as possible. Patrick, and he'd say over the radio, do you think we can get the robot working to immediately start repairs? The sooner we get it going, and it can start repairing it while we find the others?
It has fairly simple instructions.
I
might
I
not
can
have-
probably give it some instructions. I just need to boot it up.
Well, you get the
Patrick?
power armor on. Patrick can help me boot it up.
Okay.
Right.
Unless you can do both. I mean, unless you can give it instructions and put
I'm
the
I'm
power
talking
armor
about verbal commands, Squee.
on.
Or I'm talking about verbal commands, Al.
Patrick knows that this thing can understand American and Technocan. And Spanish.
Ooh.
Me gusta.
What is error in Spanish? Like error. Alright, anyway.
Error.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Error.
Error.
I can't roll my R's.
Um,
That's not going to work. Anyways.
Actually, I was kind of thinking out of character. We might want to just land the Rhapsody next to the behemoth, because I'm fairly sure that we're going on foot, right?
Yes, but I thought the original plan was to bring the Rhapsody with us to scare off any pursuers.
I'm fairly sure that it's probably not going to work.
What? Why?
I don't know. They might. I'm thinking that in greater numbers, they're just going to shoot at the ship.
Okay, I'd have to 100% disagree with that,
All right,
unless
then
they have
bring the ship.
firepower that could take on the ship.
Bring the ship. I was thinking more along the lines of landing it so that we could have it out of the way in the brush, not hovering overhead, making a big, huge scene. But let's just bring it.
Al's kind of like, but I thought that was the whole
No,
point.
no,
was
that
making
was
a
out of
big, huge
character.
scene.
That was out of character.
Okay, out of character. I thought. Okay,
Everything
I
was out of-
I thought the whole thing was to make a big, huge scene, so we didn't have to fight them; they would run away. That's why it was following us the whole time.
Yeah, but these are zealots.
The other ones were zealots. They ran.
Yeah, but they were like 2 or 3 or 3 or 4. If you have a pack of like 20, 30, they might get some courage.
Okay.
all I'm saying.
Well then, okay, and here's a very serious question. If we do bring it with us, what's the downside? Let's say maybe it works, maybe it doesn't.
I'm fairly certain the Inferno, the weapons on the Rhapsody actually just shoot forward, correct? Or do they shoot down?
Give me 2 seconds. There was a little Spanish play. Wow, can't sing this morning. Holy shit! Talk about tone deaf. All right, Rhapsody. The large laser cannons, the 2 large laser cannons are above each wing, and yes, they're faced forward. However, they're on small turrets, so they can fire like 180 degrees around and above them, but they can't shoot below them. All right? The large rail cannon is positioned under the nose, so it's like the opposite of the laser cannons. It can fire like behind it, no problem, like 180 degree arc around it, but it can't fire above the ship.
Mhm.
The medium range missile launchers are located on the side, and since they're missiles, they can pretty much fire anywhere as long as you give them room. And the smart bomb dispenser is located in the rear. Once again, smart bombs once deployed in an atmosphere, can pretty much seek out almost any target.
Cool.
All right, so and don't get me wrong, this is a serious question because maybe we haven't considered this possibility. Weapons aside, if we were continuing to use this to make a big scene to try and scare them away, what are the disadvantages? If it let's say, because if here's my thought, if it doesn't work, we're in a fight, but we're in a fight either way. If it does work, they run. If it doesn't work, is there a disadvantage to having the Rhapsody up above us as opposed to here?
There is one.
Okay.
You noted that there's going to be a fight. Not that there's going to be, but if there is a fight,
Mm-hmm.
that Rhapsody would only be a plus and nothing else. Here's the downside. We have pretty much zero means on repairing this.
Mm-hmm.
This is alien tech, for the most part, and we can do sloppy-esque patch jobs, but if something internal gets damaged, we would have a hard time replacing anything, really.
Got it. So the risk would be that the Zealots might have something big enough to actually hurt the ship, in which we can't do repairs. That is a downside, definitely. So then the question would be, do we think the advantage of having it there to possibly scare them off and use the weapons is greater than the risk of them hurting it?
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna
I don't know.
There's other downsides, like having it more well known that we have one of these, them being mentally prepared for it, them actually setting up for doing such things.
I suppose I would think that's an incredibly small risk, though, since they would have had very, very little time to even know it's out here.
Yeah, but we don't I don't know. There's some weird end of the world shit going on here, and they seem to be worshiping it. And who knows? Maybe the Zealots don't know shit, but who knows what their higher authority is exactly?
Okay. So here's my thoughts, and I'm fine just going with the vote. Not that any of those are not risks, but the chance that bringing the ship along helps us avoid combat completely, and we've already seen it work, is worth taking the risk. If you guys don't think it is, then I'm fine leaving it here.
What if we don't have the ship go in combat? What if we have it just kind of saunter on by?
That's a good question. How quickly can it raise up in the atmosphere? Like, if it's in danger, can it just shoot up and out of range?
It will
Not-
take a little while, but it won't be able to do it immediately.
Right.
Going from cool engines to full acceleration takes probably about a minute or so.
Okay.
So 4 melee rounds. 4 melees. No. Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
15 seconds per melee round. Yeah.
Something like that. I don't know. Out of character, am just kind of thinking that we shouldn't use the Rhapsody as a get out of jail free card in all of our battles. We should pick and choose them. In this kind
don't
of
let that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
in this kind of thing, I would rather have the Rhapsody stationary on the ground with as a sort of safe haven.
Well, it would be nice to have it stationed on the ground in case we need to escape or get other people who are injured onto it.
Well, but that would be an argument for the other one to bring it with us, because if there's people that need to escape or be
Where
injured,
are they gonna
having
land,
the Rhapsody,
dude? Where's it gonna land?
it can land right behind us instead of 6 miles or however many miles to the rear this is. Like, if we need to evacuate people quickly, then we have the Rhapsody land wherever, and then it's right there.
I don't know if I'm convinced, Squee. I'm sorry.
No.
I honestly, I don't care either way.
Although I do want to say, just as a GM, I mean, all the in character and other rationale logic behind taking the ship or leaving the ship is more than cool. I would encourage you guys not to worry about being like, oh, this is going to be a get out of jail free card. It's going to make everything too easy. You know what I mean?
No,
Don't you worry about that.
no.
Old DM Inferno Pants realizes he gave you a ship. You know what I mean? So
No.
don't let that. So don't worry about balancing the game. All right, let me worry about that. So,
I
so I just want to make you guys feel better about
Yeah,
that.
no,
I
that's
am a
definitely not my
player, and
concern. I'm concerned for the
I
Yeah,
ship.
that's not my concern.
I as a player am fine either way. We could even say something like, if in character, we could say like land the Rhapsody here, have people start effecting repairs on the Behemoth so we can GTFO when we find everyone. I'm cool with that. There's no reason why we can't change plans.
Okay, so is that the consensus then? You guys want to land the Rhapsody here? It'll crunch quite a few trees, but it's landable nearby the Behemoth. Or do you guys have you guys pretty much debated it through? Do you want to take a vote, or are you all
Let's
pretty
take a vote.
much
Let's
okay?
take a
All right, so vote
Criana.
for okay, go ahead.
What do you vote for? Taking it or leaving it?
Leaving it.
Squee.
Taking it.
Piph.
I want Patrick to not be sitting in the ship, so I'm gonna say leave it.
Okay. I am going to say leave it as well.
All right. Then, yeah, we could say something like we're leaving it here to start effecting repairs. Is it possible to land it? Have we asked this? The loading bay or whatnot, is it something that's behind the ship?
Yes, it is to the rear of the ship.
So
Yes,
maybe
but
try and land it to where it's positioned so that when we get the Behemoth moving, it can just stand up, walk into it, and we can go.
sure, you can angle the cargo bay so it faces towards the Behemoth. Alicia takes a quick look at the terrain and she finds that the flattest part of what appears to be the flattest part is directly south of the Behemoth. It's going to be maybe about 100 feet away from the Behemoth itself, but she could go closer, but it would probably leave the Rhapsody a little lopsided. And she also just gave you heads up. She doesn't reckon the trees. The trees are going to break and splinter. She says it's going to make a big noise, but it probably shouldn't hurt the ship. Now that she thinks about it.
Well, if we're taking the Behemoth with us, we're going to have to make a big noise sooner or later, I suppose.
Okay, so if you guys are okay with that, Alicia will position to land the ship, and sure enough, the belly of the Rhapsody brushes against the trees, and you can hear at first just small snappings, a bunch of them, a dozen of them, then 100 of them, and then larger creaks, much larger snaps as the forest directly to the south of you, a good 300 feet of it, is flattened and splintered by the sheer mass and bulk of your spaceship. What would you guys like to do next? Bear does have the trail, but you guys were talking about the light labor bot and whatnot before we got talking about landing the ship. What else would you guys like to take care of?
I think we should leave at least a couple of people at the ship.
Okay.
Probably August, perhaps
Mhm.
Alicia, maybe Blink as well. What do you guys think?
No, I completely agree with that. Some people to set up a defensive,
Yeah.
because like you said, if we're going to make this a safe haven, it would be a nice stronghold position to fall back to where if we're having to move quickly, we'll have people able to protect our retreat type of thing and keep people from just hijacking the giant ass spaceship.
That's another thing that I wanted to bring up, but I'm still a bit groggy. Um, we're going to be here for at least a few days. So having the ship stationary and already here, it is better than flying it over because the chance of it being seen by someone that we don't want it seen is. I would rather not take that chance when we have to stay at this area to repair the Behemoth if we want to take the Behemoth for the next few days.
Understandable.
Yeah. Sorry, I really said that before.
No, don't worry about it. I mean, the vote took care of it, and I really am not
Yeah.
the type of person to be sad about it, so I am all for
No,
it.
that's a part of working with a team, right?
Mm.
So the consensus then, perhaps, or the suggestion was leaving August, Alicia, and Blink aboard the ship. Alicia, she can pilot it. August, because he's not really great in the fight, and Blink, because she is good in the fight.
Yes.
And to maintain a radio communication with you guys. You guys can test and double check both personal comms on the suits of body armor or power armor, in addition the actual ship's radio as well. In fact, if you guys like, you can also probably configure the Behemoth's radio for whatever reason to also run on that same frequency, communications frequency. So you're all on the same, all on the same page.
Yeah.
Does that sound like a
sounds
good idea?
Yeah.
The only thing is
okay.
the communications array got blown up, if I recall correctly.
Oh yeah, that's right. There is no radio on the Behemoth.
Never
You're
mind.
absolutely right. On the
Darn.
Rhapsody then.
What I'm going to suggest is, in character, I'm going to suggest Blink guard the Rhapsody and the Behemoth in the Glitter Boy, because I'm going to be taking the Mystic Power Armor.
Yep, not a problem.
Well, yeah. She's got her own glitter boy, doesn't she?
No.
No.
Oh.
There's
She
only
did
one
back on L-Zone Prime, but when you went back into space, that was network property.
What was she
didn't
using
get
on
to keep it.
Mars? I forget.
She was using my Glitter Boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Okay.
only one suit of Glitter Boy.
Got it.
Otherwise,
There's
she
only
has just her personal set.
Got it.
That's why I was requesting another one, so there would be one for Tom. and Blink.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Here's a question.
Anyhow.
The repair bot, is it something that we can really just give
Yes.
instructions and let it go? Would it help if August is there, like,
Fire it up and find out.
Al would be like, Patrick, like he gets to the robot, Patrick, okay, what do I do?
What are you trying to do, Al?
Turn it on so it can start repairing the, well, I'm not a mechanic, but the leg looks pretty bad.
Alright, how does the robot look?
The robot looks fine. It has a small bit of dust. It's been used. It's been turned around, so its back is facing one of the walls of the Behemoth. But you know, of course, since you repaired this thing, the switch to turn it on to engage its internal power core is on its back, kind of the small of its back, a small little dial that is pressed and then turned.
Okay, to activate it, there's a small dial on his back. I believe that's what you said. Excuse me, I'm a little...
It's fine. That's
Don't
exactly what I
worry,
said. Don't worry about it.
Al will look for the dial.
Okay. You're able to find it. No problem.
Alright, he'll flip it on.
All right. As it turns on, you hear a small whir, the sounding of internal machinery. Sure enough, the lights on the back of its hands and its eyes begin to glow a very, very soft blue light. After a few flickers, you can see it stands up completely proper, stiff as a board, and it says in a crisp robotic voice, "How may I assist?"
I need you to repair the leg of the Behemoth so it can move again.
Identify.
Identify what?
Identify.
Oh dear God, Patrick, what am I identifying?
What did you tell him?
I told him to repair the leg of the Behemoth.
You need to show him, ask him to follow, and give a visual point, and he should get it.
Oh, okay. Follow me. Patrick, what's his name?
Affirmative. It
Okay, never
says
mind.
as it begins to follow you.
Hey, Al, what are you doing? Al, what is that?
I'm trying to get the repair bot thing to repair the Behemoth.
Mila goes up to the
The-
repair bot. Hi,
Yes.
I'm Mila. What's your name?
Does not compute. Identify.
Hi does
Yes.
not compute identify. My name's Mila.
Sorry. Please continue.
Is it continuing to follow Al or?
Well, it stopped because Mila approached it and engaged with it.
Robot, follow me.
Follow me, robot. I want to show you my room.
Mila.
What?
Mila.
It looks between the two of you. Does not compute.
Mila, this is very important. We have to repair the behemoth. We don't have time to show him your room right now, but later.
But I had all
Mila,
those pictures.
Mila, people are in danger, Mila.
You had to play that card, didn't you, Al? Oh, okay.
I did.
Later.
Danger! Evacuate the area.
What? Danger?
No,
Where?
no.
Al, we're in
Looking
danger.
flustered. No. Just follow me. And he like makes these exaggerated hand motions. Like maybe
gives
that'll
us-
help.
He gives a small nod. Affirmative. And he gets to follow you. Not gonna lie.
You
Favorite NPC to play right now.
you hear under his breath, stupid skeleton. As Al will direct
Doesn't
him.
respond.
I know. As Al directs him out to the damaged leg.
Okay. How may I assist?
Please begin. Hold one moment, Patrick.
Affirmative.
How do I tell this thing to begin making needed repairs and not like cosmetic stuff?
An exact term should use it. But since you might not remember the whole sequence, because it's a fairly lengthy one, tell it to repair the unarmored sections of the leg, and make sure that you point in the non. Oh, I have to tell you which areas are the non-armored ones. Oh shoot. And Patrick will go into how many feet up and at particular angles of the leg would be the.
The exposed areas. Okay, sure.
Al will look at the robot and say, I need you to repair the unarmored sections of the leg. And Al will do his best to follow the directions to point to what Patrick said.
Its eyes follow where you point. And then, after you're done explaining all the areas, it simply says, affirmative. Allow me to assist. And
Oh,
with
thank
that, it begins to move back into the behemoth.
Al's like, no, wait, where are you going?
As you follow the robot, it moves into the side of the behemoth. It starts looking around as if it's scanning for things. Identify. And it's continuing to walk to the back of the behemoth as well until it gets to the cargo area. Do you stop it?
No, Al would probably just get on the radio and say, Patrick, it's going back into the behemoth.
Yeah.
The leg's on the outside of the behemoth.
Yes. He needs to actually get the physical things to repair it. It's not like he can wizard it up.
There's a moment of silence, and then you hear, oh, right. Okay,
Sure
then.
enough, it emerges from the cargo compartment with pieces of scrap metal, and its right finger, one of its index finger, flicks open a small plasma torch. You're in its way. Like he moves in front of you, and he looks at you, and he simply says, allow me to assist.
Al sidesteps.
He moves past you and begins repairs on the leg of the ship.
Oh, I
So I just want you guys to know there are only 11 things this thing can speak. So my entire roleplay is dependent on those 11 phrases. It is so fucking fun.
That is really awesome.
You are in its way. Danger, danger, clear the area. Danger. Takes out torch, danger.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay. Now it appears to be making some repairs to the ship, what do you guys want to do next?
Would it be safe to say that I'm in my mystic power armor now?
Yes. During this time to explain everything, you are able to get on into your mystic body power armor. Yes. All right. What's next, guys?
Hey guys.
Let's venture forth.
Da-da-da-da.
Follow that trail.
Oh, so you're going to be following Bear and following the trail. So
Yes.
all four of you and Bear. Okay, excellent.
Mhm.
So we're going to slip into a slight narrative. And Bear begins to lead you. It is clear that this path that has been made by these dozen or so footsteps is very, very hasty. It looks like, especially for the first about 500 meters or so, they go at a quick pace. However, Bear points out a few things for those of you who are not keen on this type of skill. Of small loose attempts to cover the trail, whether it is down vegetation or purposely trying to smear the tracks themselves to befuddle it. He says that this is an attempt of a skilled mind to do the best with what they have. In addition, he points out a few footprints that seem to have deeper indentations into the earth and dirt, which can be seen. And he says that he's able to estimate that approximately 2 or 3 individuals are carrying something very heavy. The tracks slow down a little bit, and Bear is able to point out on a few scattered leaves on the ground that there is the sign of blood, that someone also is bleeding. Trail continues on for a good 30 minutes before you reach the edge of a river. Those of you with the tracking skill, who among you have that? I know Tom has that. Does anyone else track animals?
I
Mm,
do not know. I don't
No,
think so.
says the man who grew up in cities.
So Burn,
Yeah.
I believe you can use your track animal skill, but it's a -20 to track human beings, correct?
Yes. I
All right.
also, because I'm in the mystic power armor, have Eyes of the Wolf, which helps me identify tracks if that's needed.
Well, it depends on whether you want to spend the ISP to engage it. I
It's
can't tell you if it's
perpetual.
needed if you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I could have sworn that the Eyes of the Wolf was indefinite.
Oh, was it indefinite?
Yeah,
Give
a
me.
lot of these things on the mystic power armor are indefinite.
Well, isn't that great for the mystic power?
I'm
Give
sorry.
me a quick. Oh, you're right. It's the offensive things that require ISP.
Yeah.
Let me just quickly go through the magic item list because I know it's there.
I like it
Give me
how
just a
Inferno
moment.
goes into like high school girl. Like, oh!
Yeah, I know. Isn't that just great?
That's
Look at me.
Stephanie would totally
I
do that.
can
Here we
probably
go.
give you.
Mystic power armor.
Like
Offensive.
Christian Bale. Good for you. How
Yeah.
was it?
I don't see Eyes of the Wolf here, dude. I see Flies the Eagle, Globe of Day, Superhuman Speed, Superhuman Strength. Oh wait, Optics, Eye of the Wolf, and See Invisible.
Yeah.
Yay.
Okay, so using your Eyes of the Wolf, wow, this makes things a whole lot easier.
Yeah.
You're able actually to identify this faster than Bear. It appears at the edge of the river that quite a few of the footprints go to cross the river itself, and you can actually see a path on the opposite side of the riverbed, on the edge of the river, it continuing into the forest. However, your keen eyes, thanks to the Mystic Power Armor, is able to see that on your side of the riverbed, there is another set of prints. And these prints make a small crescent formation. It's the prints of somebody walking on their heels. And they're walking along the riverbed a good 50, 60, 70, 80 feet directly to the west, upstream. Following those tracks, you can see that those on the other side of the river loop around from the vegetation and once more enter the river and meet up with these crescent heel tracks. This implies that they were trying to make their pursuers think that they all crossed the river when really they doubled back, with the majority of the party just following the edge of the river walking on their heels. And instead of crossing the river, both yourself and Bear recommend to continue these heeled paths upriver a few hundred feet. And I'm assuming you do so, since that's what the evidence seems to pertain. Fair enough?
Yeah.
Yes.
They sure enough regain their footing upstream. Once again, it descends into the vegetation, and this is very, very thick. This is where the vegetation is almost identical to what you're seeing in the bottom left-hand corner picture. Very, very dense. And the tracks appear to be slowing down.
Okay.
You continue on for another about 5 minutes or so. And thanks to your Eyes of the Wolf, you're able to make a good speed. In fact, you're able to determine that you're probably going to be catching up to these tracks very, very soon.
Wood.
So, I would like all of you, we're going to do something a little different here. One at a time, I would like you guys to pick a number between 1 and 10, and then roll the dice. So let's start with Squee. You are in your regular body armor, correct?
Correct, sir.
Agent, the agent, no. You're not in a power armor or anything
No,
else.
no.
Okay.
The 70 MDC one, yeah.
Great. So pick one number between 1 and 10, and then roll. Tell me what number you want to pick.
I pick 6.
All right, roll 1d10.
1d10.
Okay, you got an 8. Piph, you're just in regular body armor as well, right? Or are you in your golden armor?
I don't have the time to get to my golden armor yet.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he's in the heavy, it's body armor.
Yeah, the network body armor. Okay.
He's also in the vehicle car thing. The dune buggy.
Oh, you're the Mars rover?
Yeah.
Oh, great. So I would like you to pick 3 numbers between 1 and 10, and then roll a d10.
Well, I gotta pick 10 because that's my favorite number. That's a given.
Okay.
What
are the other 2?
Let's go with 3 and 2, just for fun.
Okay.
Funny.
10, 3, and 2.
Oh God. Oh God.
Go ahead.
No, it's fine. I can
Yeah,
wait.
yeah.
I can wait until we finish this up.
No. Go ahead now.
I don't know where. Okay, so can you guys give me an idea of where everyone is right now, so I can figure out where the hell Mila would be in all of this?
Sure, yeah. A general, we'll say party displacement. I think it's fair to say that Tom and Bear would be near the front of this traveling party, correct?
Definitely.
Okay. And Patrick is in his Mars rover vehicle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
So, Squee, would you be outside the vehicle, inside the vehicle, and then, of course, the same option for you, Mila, outside and inside, and generally where?
Well, two questions. One, we're not moving very quickly, right?
No, you're not. No, you're not.
Two, is there any place on top of the ATV to sit stably?
Unfortunately, no. Unlike ATVs that were here on Earth, the Mars rover, since it had to go into hostile, perhaps vacuumous environments, is completely and utterly sealed from the bottom to the top. There is no gunner's seat.
No, no, I was just asking, like sitting on top of it or something like that.
It's all very, very sleek.
Okay.
Oh my God! Someone's drawing on my dial.
No.
No, someone
Yes.
was drawing.
No.
That was a long time ago.
No, I
Yeah.
just noticed
I
it
was
now.
trying to point it out.
All right. Anyway.
Okay, then Al would be walking beside it.
Oh.
Oh, now it looks angry.
It's an angry Muppet.
That's because it is angry. Anyways.
Mila, I
Fine.
guess, would be walking. So,
Yeah.
at one point you would, I guess she'd be kind of near Al, because
Okay.
you just said Al was walking, right? I'm not crazy.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
And she'd be like, "Wow!" Then she would stop and look at Al and say, "We gotta hide." She's not
Al-
waiting for you to respond. She's hiding.
Al is. I'd like to think that Al's been with him long enough to trust his instincts or her instincts. So he's going to say, everyone, hide. And he's going to look for some sort of cover.
Okay. I would like to use Chameleon.
Okay.
And
You. Sure. And now, does that something that you have to use ISP for?
if I recall correctly, the only thing I actually have to use ISP for is the 100 ISP to regenerate the 150 MDC field.
Oh yeah, you're right. And because
Yeah.
then everything. Yeah. Okay. I see. It's how many per melee. Wow, that's crazy. Okay, cool.
I know.
So you engage in the chameleon. All of a sudden, those of you who are looking towards Tom are able to see this crystalline armor that covers him from head to foot. All of a sudden, blends in perfectly with the surroundings, and you have to stare straight at him to even see an outline, and even then, that's kind of tricky. Bear quickly delves into a nearby shrub. Patrick, what you gonna do?
Give me a second. Oh my god. Yeah, I hope this goddamn works.
Okay.
Like sitting at the wheel going like hide, and he's like, I'm in a vehicle. He does see Tom disappear, and he's like, yeah, I should probably let's try. I have not tried this. Let's try this. And he's going to try to cast a spell to cast Chameleon on his car. It is self or other by touch. So I'm not quite sure how that
Tell
works.
you what, I'm going to allow it if you spend double the ISP. Sorry, the PPE.
All right. Luckily, I do have enough of such things. Good. Okay.
And then, a few seconds later, after Tom appears to disappear, the entire vehicle, the little Mars rover craft itself, seems to have that same effect, where in one moment it's there, the next it is starting to blend in. You can kind of see a rough outline of it, especially if you look right at it, because it's quite massive, right? But regardless of the angle, it blends in extremely well in the greens and the dark browns and the earthy blacks of the surroundings. You all wait silently for a few seconds. You don't hear anything just yet. Do you wish to continue to wait?
Patrick trusts in Mila. Until she moves, he's not doing the thing.
Al's going to strain his senses to try and detect some sort of ambush or something like that.
Okay, roll me a check, please. No modifiers that you know of.
Dun dun dun.
Just tell me how much you succeed or fail by.
All right, give me 1 second. As I realize I had the group's loot open, but not my character sheet.
Nice.
It happens.
Oh, I need to download that new awesome PDF thing you
I
were telling
know.
me about.
Yeah,
I needs to do that. All right.
it's good. It's really good.
Okay. So I succeed by 59.
You look around. You have, based on what you see, it doesn't appear that anything around the immediate area gives off any alarms that someone's waiting to strike to you, right? Like you look up in the tree line, you don't see any shadows in the tree, right? You look on the earth and the trees and whatnot, and you don't see anything that's broken, like any vegetation that's broken, other than the trail that you've been following, right?
Mm-hmm.
You stop, you listen, you hear the chirping of a few small birds, the whirring of a few forest insects, but nothing. No crack, no creak, no snapping, no stone being knocked over. It's dead quiet. A few more seconds pass on by. Do you wish to continue to wait?
Al will very quietly say, Mila, why did we need to hide?
Shh. Mila's gonna climb a tree.
Okay.
Well,
All right.
but she'll whisper to Al, "Don't move," and then she'll do that.
Okay. Great. Why don't you do a climb check for me, please? You
Alright.
could fall out of the tree and hurt yourself.
That's very true. Bump. I'm sure I succeed. Let me double check.
Yeah. I'm
yeah,
pretty sure it's in the 90s now.
98%. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, great. So you're able to climb a nearby tree. It's a pine tree. It goes a good 30, 35 feet into the air before the branches get too thin to support your weight of yourself and your armor. But you stand up there and you get a slightly better view of your surroundings. Of course, the vegetation is still quite thick, but the angle is helpful. And you can see probably a good 90 feet in front of you. A good, I'd say about 40 feet more than everyone else. You can see what appears to be a divot in the ground, a small area that has been cleared that doesn't have any large trees or growth in it. There's a divot into the ground, almost like a dirt ditch in a way, but it's hedged out by a bunch of smaller shrubs and smaller, bushes and whatnot. And you can see two figures clearly in there. One of them has a giant railgun pointed in your direction. You recognize that railgun as the one that was on the behemoth. And the other figure that's lying near the dirt, you recognize as well. That person is wearing your terrain hopper power armor.
Mila will think to herself, "I have one just like that."
Sure. And they're all very silent, and you can see the one in the terrain hopper power armor bring up a gloved hand, and she's pointing over to another direction off to the east of you, as if she's pointing at a few other individuals. But they all sit there and they all wait.
Mila will climb back down and go over to Al and whisper, "So, it looks like there's people up ahead."
Big armed people or people?
Well, one's got armor like the one I have, when I hop a lot. And the other has a big railgun, like the behemoth has. And
Okay, Mila.
yeah.
This is important.
What?
How similar to the power armor you hop around in?
Al, It's
It's
like
purple.
it's purple. It's exactly like someone must really like purple too. I thought I was the only one.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Mila. And he'll actually like put an arm on her shoulder. Good job.
But it there are the others that were at the behemoth coming around from the other side?
No, they're staying at the behemoth. Why?
That was weird. Purple lady looked like she was pointing at something. I thought maybe they were sneaking around the other end.
Oh crap.
Probably nothing. But
All
we
right.
should probably be careful.
Yeah, stay here. I'm gonna go check out over there.
Okay.
Al is going to he'll quiet. Oh God, he doesn't know where Tom is. He will quietly move up to where Bear is because if he knows where Bear is, Bear might be straight up.
Well, you can't really see Bear either. Bear's pretty good.
Yeah, I was gonna say Bear is probably pretty good. Then Al is going to. Okay, how would I do this? Would I roll to try and detect where Tom is somehow, or?
Sure, yeah, definitely. I'd just do
Yeah.
a percentage roll, frankly.
Okay.
You could also use your radio.
Oh my God! Yeah, that's true. But no, that'd be a horrible idea, actually.
Well,
Al's
fuck
going
you!
to... No.
Here's the thing.
I think
The radio.
were simply giving me my options, not
Yeah.
telling me
There,
what.
there's no radio built into the Mystic Power Armor, so it's
Oh.
just hooked onto his belt.
Okay. Oh, I see. Okay,
But
well,
in-
here,
but
let's
in
get
either
this
case, yeah.
clarified first.
Mm.
All right. Vern, roll me a
Yes.
D100, please.
Okay. 98.
Oh, wow. Okay. Actually, Tom did not do so great on his camouflage right now. So there's actually no need for... Actually, no, there's a chance that you could roll horribly as well. So, Squee, I'd like you to roll me a D100, please.
Okay. 9.
No.
Not at
So
all.
these are very opposite of each other. So to the layperson, Tom picked a fine spot to hide, which was behind a tree, right? You think he'd be blended in, no problem. The only problem, though, Al, and you can see Tom just very clearly from your angle, that his right foot is completely up against a very jet black stone. And it is not being camouflaged at all. It's still clearly like a dark green and brown speckled foot.
Oh, I see. So,
So-
the body armor is
So
the color
Tom
of the
wasn't
tree.
aware that it was exactly.
Got it.
Well, the problem is that as long as the user is aware of his environment it blends in great, right?
Mhm.
But if he's not aware, like say he makes a mistake with his footing, then it sticks out like a sore thumb.
Got it. Then Al is going to very quietly, like, crouch walk over straight to Tom and tap Tom on his foot.
Oh, jeez.
Tom. Mila saw ahead of us there are 2 people from the behemoth with our railgun and her power armor waiting for us. We got to be careful. More importantly, she thinks she saw people over to our... what would it be? Our left?
Yeah, we're gonna say make it very since they're practically going north. So yeah, to your left.
He said she may have seen people to our left. Might be friendly, might be hostile. I'm going to go have a look. Just keep everyone quiet and be ready, I guess.
Okay, do you want me to fly overhead? Because I can fly.
I know, but that might be very, very noticeable.
True. Good luck.
All right, I'll be back soon. And Al will start creeping over to the left as quietly as he can.
He's gonna do the creep.
All right, so please do a prowl check. I'm gonna have you make it. There is a clear modifier that I
Mhm.
can't identify with you. You're in very thick vegetation that blocks line of sight pretty darn well. So I'd like you to roll a sneak check, and I'd like you to make it easier by 20. Then let me know how much you succeed or fail by.
I'm in the light body armor. I'm trying to look it up right now. I don't think it has a penalty because it's the light one, but I don't think I actually wrote down.
How about, well, let's just play it safe.
Sure.
Typically, light armor is no penalty or a -5. We're gonna be
Is it-
generous.
Is it the network one?
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
network light armor.
All right. If you want, I can look it up, Inferno, or we can just.
No, you know what? For now, if you guys to speed things along,
Sure.
for now we'll look it up a little bit later. But we're gonna say no penalty because if I remember
Okay.
correctly, the network has some pretty well crafted stuff.
Got it. So make it easier by 20.
Yep.
Okay, okay. I succeed by 8.
Okay.
Whew.
All right. So you move up very, very carefully. Like you said, creeping, like crawling on the ground or very, very low to the ground, right?
Yes.
You're very careful not to rustle any leaves, to step around it while still trying to block line of sight of what's going on ahead of you. You're moving left of the group. Sure enough, you only have to move about 30 or 40 feet when you see 3 other figures. All of them are wearing the same body armor that you wear. You can't tell their genders, but they have energy weapons in their hand. They're lying low in the bush as well, nervously looking back and forth. You can kind of see the barrels of the rifle move left and right as if they're scanning or waiting.
They're wearing network armor.
No, they are wearing gladiator armor, the same armor
Oh.
that was left on the behemoth.
Oh, okay. You said
That is
same
not
armor.
missing.
I was confused. Okay.
Sorry. Just a simple mistake. Same armor that you possessed back
Got
when
it.
you were on Earth.
Al is going to. Okay, Al is going to very quietly try and get to behind, if there exists, a berm of earth, something that would provide cover against energy weapons to put it between him and them.
Okay. You look around to try to find some sort of berm or small hill or at least some sort of outcropping that you could use as makeshift cover.
Mhm. And
Fortunately, you are able to locate one. It's about 30 feet to your right. It doesn't get any closer to the men, right?
mhm.
But here's the tricky thing. It is just over a fallen log, and you gotta leap over that log or go around that log, and it might expose you. I'm gonna say you're able to get to that berm, but you're going to have to do another prowl check. Same as before, making
Okay.
it easier by 20,
Okay. All right then.
or you can stay where you are.
No. I'm gonna try it because I don't know. Like you said, they're looking around, so they look like they're on edge.
Oh yes, oh
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
you can
so
tell that very
Al,
easily.
Al, seeing how badly that can go. He fails by 9. Oh my god.
So you move over to the log, and your eyes are fixed on that log. You know exactly what you're gonna do. A single, swift movement and crunch. Shit. And the forest lights up. You hear a yell, there! And an eruption of fire. Give me 2 seconds as I quickly roll a few things. Oh, I'm on stupid Canadian English keyboard. I want a backslash, not an accent aigu. All right. All right. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So now Squee,
Yes.
thick vegetation. I'm
Mhm.
considering this 30% cover.
Got
all
it.
right. 3 laser shots are coming your way. All right. Now, first things first, its main body, they were kind of firing wild, right?
Mhm.
Because they were in a panic mode. So I'm going to just roll 3 1d100s, and we're going to see what hits the cover and what doesn't, okay?
Got it. Mhm.
So we want to get under 30. 1, 2. So one shot. So off to your left, a section of ground turns into a cloud of dust. The off to your left, right, it hits a few branches of the tree. A laser shot just turning it to cinders, right? And but one shot does hit you right on the shoulder, unless you want to try and make a dodge roll.
No. Al's gonna make no threatening
Okay. All right. All right. So 1d. All right. So you take 10 points of mega damage to your armor.
Got it.
And give me just one other brief second to do a little bit more description here, and then I'm going to throw it back into your guys' courts.
Sure.
Okay. Uh, so that's what happened to you in these few split seconds. Okay, Squee? For the rest of the group, those of you who are hiding about 30, 40 feet behind where Squee is, okay? Oh, sorry, where Al is. You guys hear that same shout, there, get him! And then you hear eruption of fire. Just a few seconds afterwards, you hear two more voices coming from ahead of you, the direction of the meal of the individuals that you spotted, right? And one of them yells out, "You won't get us alive, you pieces of shit!" while the other one is yelling something else in another defiant language. And now I would like Mila.
Yeah.
I want you to pick a number between 1 and 10.
Okay.
Okay, and pick whatever number you want, and then roll a 10.
Okay. I'm gonna
I mean,
pick
roll.
number. I'm gonna pick 10 and roll 10. No, I'm gonna pick number 7.
Okay, roll it.
Oh!
Okay. And Burn, I'd like you to pick a number between 1 and 20, and roll a d20, please.
Okay, I'm gonna go with 13. Lucky number 13.
Come on, Burn. Let's do it.
I thought
Did
that
that
was
actually
not
go
my
through?
number.
Team spot
It
on.
did
No,
not.
I haven't
No.
seen anything.
Okay.
No,
8.
and there it is.
Oh,
Damn it.
And now, Piph, I'm sorry I'm going to have to make you do this again.
Mm.
I would like you to pick, now this time only one number on a 10, and then roll a d10.
I want a 10.
Because you're all camouflaged now.
I want 10.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So, in front of you, guys, the forest also breaks out in fire. 4 more laser shots
Uh-oh.
and 1 railgun burst just pepper the vegetation all around you. And Mila, you catch one of those laser bursts.
Damn it!
It's
I thought I
right
was the
in
winner. Damn it.
No. That was a 10% chance of getting hit.
But I'm a winner in my book.
Yeah, sure.
Let me have the small victory.
You take it just wings you on the on your left hand side of your armor. Just wings you 3 damage of mega damage
Okay.
to your body armor. Okay.
To my body armor. Okay. Do we have?
Okay. So after this quick initial burst, now I'm throwing it on to you guys. Now you guys can make your own reaction, and depending on what it is, we can roll initiative or we cannot. But I'll let each of you take an action or do something in response to this sudden attack.
Well, Al will, as non-threatening as possible, calmly, even though it's like against every instinct in his body, calmly stand up and say, "Friends of L Zone Prime."
Like in that tone?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's what Al is doing. Mila, Tom, Patrick.
Mila will shout out, "We're here to help!"
Okay, all right.
Patrick shoots up his head and starts getting his rifle ready to shoot, but he's in his car.
Okay, so yeah, that'll take a few seconds. So you're going for your rifle and everything. Okay, and Tom?
Yeah.
He's just gonna yell, "Stop fucking shooting!" in that tone.
All right.
Somebody.
Okay. So Tom yells, Mila yells, and Al says, as calmly and as matter of factly as he can.
Trying to
and everything.
project, though. Definitely trying to
Oh,
project.
you are trying to project.
Yeah. Like, think
probably a good
actor
call,
stage
'cause-
projecting. Yeah. Yeah, it's loud.
Oh, okay, good. All right. All right, good. All of a sudden, The gunfire immediately stops for a second, and you know it could continue on. And you hear Al, a voice, a male voice, um, one of the owners of the 3 guns that were firing on you. He says, Elzone Prime?
He'll I'm sorry, Inferno, real quick. What was the name of the gentleman we picked up last week?
Peyton.
Peyton, okay. He'll say, "It's Al. We were friends at Alzone Prime. We've already got Peyton. He's being treated on our ship. We're here to bring you too."
Jesus, stop firing! Stop firing, Ivy! The guy yells. And sure enough, um, the gentleman and his 2 compatriots emerge completely from the vegetation, their weapons raised down. And you recognize now that you said, more than a few words, that this is probably the voice of Louis Tai Fang. Both him and his sister were the outsider scouts that you knew back on Alzone Prime.
Got
He
it.
says, Al, how the hell did you get back to Earth? It hasn't been even close to 6 years yet.
It's a bit of a long story, one that we could probably better told later.
Yeah. You're medically trained, right?
I am. Are there injured?
Yes, come on. And you hear Phil yell, we're coming, Ivy. You won't fucking believe who's here.
And Al will switch on the radio so that his party can hear. All right, it's the ones we're looking for. There's injured. I'm headed over to them.
Okay, what do you guys want to do? Mila knows, these guys are just, 80 feet away.
Oh man, I'm trying to think of a. Okay. Tom is going to reach down to his belt, disengage the chameleon, and speak into the radio so that it will go into Al's ear. Thank fuck they stopped firing at us then. Jesus! Do you need help bringing people back to the Rhapsody?
You hear you hear you see that the others would see Al's head suddenly go to the side when Tom shouted through the radio, and then a careful reply. I don't know yet. Let me see how bad they are.
Tom's gonna start moving up.
Okay.
Tom, what are you doing?
They're the people from Elzo Prime. Come on.
Are you sure they hit me?
Yes.
I was lying about wanting to help them. That was mean of them.
Look, Mila, do you want to help or not? Because if you don't want to help,
No,
maybe you and Patrick should head back to the
I
behemoth.
want to help.
Then come.
Aww.
Fine. Mila kind of pouts and follows.
Nice, Patrick. You overhear much of this on the radio, except for Tom and Mila's conversation.
Patrick doesn't know exactly what's going on. Because nobody actually noted Elzone Prime or anything, just, they stopped firing! Thank fuck for that. We're going to get them now.
Well, no, Al did say it's the ones we're looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did say this. Yeah.
Alright. But in either way, he still hasn't had the clearest answer, but he's gonna put down his rifle, assuming the best.
Okay, cool. And so are you going to follow along, bring the rover as best as you can to follow behind Mila and Tom?
Yes. As you see, Patrick restart up the vehicle and start moving, it's like an illusion, like the shimmer in the desert. His car morph out of where it was.
How poetic. So,
He immediately hits a
Great. Okay. You don't hit a tree unless you want to.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Graceful.
So, I'll get there just a few seconds before the rest of the group, but I'm going to just explain everything in general. Okay. You see in this ditch, it's a much larger ditch. It looks like maybe what used to be a crater, made maybe a few years back, but it's now been overgrown with the local vegetation, although no trees have re-entered the area. It's pretty large, too, a good 50 feet all around. And you see what seems to be about 17 individuals. They were all around the perimeter. Now, half of them, no, sorry, not half of them, only about 5 of them are in body armor, one of them is in power armor, and all of them have pretty much the weapons that you had on board the Behemoth, in addition with a few extra. Some of those without any armor are also wielding energy weapons. They look tired, they look exhausted. The armor, some of the armor has been damaged, some more than others, and they look absolutely desperate. When they see you guys come, more than a few individuals give a breath of a huge sigh of relief and a few muffled thank gods. Of the individuals there is, of course, Louis Tengfai, the fellow in the gladiator body armor who was kind of leading that side motion. Ivy Tengfai, her brother, and she's the one who's in Mila's terrain hopper power armor. 13 men and women, and 2 infants. 4 individuals seem to have injuries, and one of them is gravely so. This is the person that Louis quickly rushes over from Al over to, the one that is in very bad shape. She is a person who appears to be in her mid-30s. You don't recall her name at all, but you do remember that she worked in L Zone Prime. Her left hand appeared to have taken some significant energy fire because half of it is completely missing. A lot of the blood hasn't congealed, nor has it what do you call it when you burn it to stop the bleeding? Cauterized or cauterized. It appears to have been a few days old. She is pale. She is on the ground with others looking after her. And there's a bandage on that hand, but it was not a good job, and you can still see it bleeding and leaking through. This woman is also unconscious. She appears to be almost in a comatose state. The other 3 injured individuals, some of them have deep tissue damage, right?
Mm-hmm.
2 of them looking like on the border of infection, but they are not nearly as dire as this person right there. What would you guys like to do?
You go first.
I need a question for you, Squee. What is Al wearing right now? He's wearing the light combat armor?
Correct, the light combat armor.
Okay, if you wish, you can swap with me. I will give you the Mystic Power armor so you can fly this person back.
Don't have time. Maybe in a few minutes, but let me stabilize them first.
Okay.
Al is not going to waste time with words or hellos or anything. He's going to immediately drop down to one knee and begin assessing the most dire patient.
Okay.
Couple of questions.
Sure.
Question number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the hand is half blown off and leaking blood.
Yes.
One option would be to cauterize it. However, my spell of hang on, let me go to my spells so that I'm talking about the right one here. Heal wounds. It's
Uh-huh.
would that be something I could use to help close up or stop bleeding?
Give me a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Give me uno momento. Heal wounds, you said?
Yes. I can read the description for you if you'd like.
Nope. No need.
Okay, got
I
it.
got it right here. Yeah, that's not a minor physical wound,
I didn't think
unfortunately.
so. Yeah, I
No,
didn't think
that
so.
will not help.
All right.
The big damage is, yeah, yeah.
Then my second question would be more of a hang on, where is this? The let's see, the not the knitter, the surgical robots. Wondering if that's something that can. Oh, actually, I have it here. Amazing device. Near suspected area of damage. Da, 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 da. Types of injury include removal of blood clots, repairing of torn, ruptured veins, internal bleeding, minor
Yep.
damage to internal organs. That would be something that could help.
Yes.
Okay. Al is going to immediately apply one of the uses of the IRM-SS.
Okay. Great. Do so. Mark that off in your inventory.
All right.
You bring your hand to the affected area and deploy the little IRSS internal robots. And they begin to work. However, you can't see the actions, the immediate actions. You do know from your assessment, you don't even need to roll for this skill assessment. It's pretty basic.
Mm-hmm.
That bandage is not good. That hand should be definitely rebandaged because by her pale lips and her milky flesh, it's clear that she's already suffered too much blood loss and she needs every single drop until the internal bleeding and external bleeding stops.
Got it. Al's going to ask, almost bluntly, does anyone know her blood type?
No one. No one has any idea.
Al's gonna.
You just get a bunch of shaking heads and a few people be like, sorry, I don't know.
Al's not even going to. That sounds horrible. Not waste the time to acknowledge them.
Whatever.
Let's see. No, this can't determine blood type. All right, he's going to take out his first aid kit and begin re-wrapping the wound.
Okay, great. Roll me paramedic, actually. This is much more applicable than
Okay.
medical doctor. Roll me paramedic, no modifiers.
Got it. See by 2. Holy
Okay.
cow.
So you're able to help it. Unfortunately, you know that you're able to wrap it a lot more tighter, as best you can.
Okay.
And she still seems to be in her comatose state, but she's as stable as you're gonna get her.
Yeah, I was also gonna say Al will put the little biopalm unit on her finger to monitor her vitals while he does this in case she
Okay.
drops her.
Great. Well, the good news is that after you're done, between you injecting those things, the time that has passed with wrapping it, it looks like her vitals have not stopped. I have not dipped at all. It's
Okay.
still weak,
Mhm.
but it's not. She's not dead.
Good.
You know what I mean? Like it's
yeah.
her pulse is weak, her blood pressure is low, right?
Mhm.
But it was always low, right? It hasn't gotten any worse.
So that we can move on to is it safe to say that after that's done, since there's not much he can do at that point except let it do its job, he would just go assess the
Mhm.
others and learn what you were just saying earlier about the wounds being infected, etc., or close to infection.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, we can just do a general
Mhm.
treating thing. So my only question is what tools, supplies, or magic are you going to use to help these people?
Al is the ones. Okay. The ones that are not near death is their mobility hampered greatly?
No, not greatly. Not greatly. I'll
Then.
explain the injuries very clearly. All
Mhm.
right. One person has a pretty bad third-degree burn on their neck and on their upper back, and two people have pretty bad gashes. One on the upper thigh and one by the stomach.
Got it. Al's going to deploy the RMK robot knitters, not the surgical ones, but the knitters for the gash.
Okay, mark those off.
Well, luckily that one's reusable. It's the surgical ones that only have a limited number of reuses.
Yeah, but all right, all right.
Oh, well, okay, that's true. I will at least keep in mind that until they're back.
They're being used. Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. Until they're back, they're
Got it.
not good. Yeah.
And
Okay.
then he actually has protein healing salve for burns. So he's
You
going to use that. I
do.
do. I've had this
Whew.
forever.
I know. Excellent. That requires about half a tube
Okay.
application. The burn's pretty bad, but it soothes them considerably. And of course, you get kind of a stunned disbelief of the patients that you're treating. They don't say a whole lot, but they do remark things like, you're like an angel, or I can't believe you got here, or how you found us, or we almost abandoned all hope. Maybe we have a chance. Remarks like that. While Al's trading these individuals, because this is going to take a good 10-15 minutes of his time, at least, probably a little bit more, what is the rest of the party doing? If you don't have anything explicit to do, well, I do have a scene in mind, because obviously Ivy and Louie and a few other of the survivors of L-Zone Prime are going to want to ask you some questions, but I'd figure I'd let you guys, take the initiative.
Tom has something.
Okay.
He's going to go around the people and try and find old One Shot.
Yep. You are able to, it only takes a few minutes, and you see one individual. He is in his early 20s. He has no body armor on, but he has old One Shot gripped in between his nervous fingers.
Hey there, buddy.
But, buddy, he says, oh no, I guess we never really met proper on L-Zone Prime. I was kind of just, support staff. And he pauses for a moment. But I'm David.
Hi, Dave.
No, Dave. Okay, yeah, hi.
David. Sorry,
Aw,
David.
poor David.
Nice gun you have there.
Oh, yeah, it's well, you understand. We didn't know when you guys were coming back, and
Oh,
things
no,
got
no.
pretty bad.
I know. Did it give you any trouble? That thing has a bitter history.
I didn't know that. God, the past few months, I maybe fired just a couple shots in my life, none of them in anger, and now this, yeah, but it performed well. It's sturdy. Unlike some of the other models there, they got kind of jammed up when you had to switch out the Eclipse, but
Yeah.
apparently this one's okay.
It's a very solid weapon. I'll tell you what. You can hold on to it for a bit, but that's my own personal weapon.
Oh, yeah, of course, but well, now that you guys are here, we're rescued, right? We're safe, as safe as
Yes.
we can be.
You guys did a number on the Behemoth, so we're gonna
Yeah,
stick around
giant.
for a couple of days, but after that we'll get in the ship and we'll fly.
Yeah, and David says, yeah, oh, the thing, giant fucking creature, giant horn in the middle of its face, came out of nowhere, just slammed into it again and again. God, we blasted it. For what was minutes, it didn't stop it. Sorry about your behemoth, but
Don't worry
God.
about it. We'll repair it.
It was tough getting to Liberty. We couldn't get to Liberty. We had to go around. You understand?
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
But
He
I
kind of just
eventually
looks down and kicks his butt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you can have it now. It's your weapon.
No,
Your
no.
weapon. You probably fire it better than I do.
Mm. Okay, fine. If you're gonna push, he's gonna go and take his gun back.
David doesn't look like he's pushing, but he's not smiling. He's still in a bit of ye olde shell shock mode. But okay, all right. How about Mila? He returns One Shot to you.
Good.
He takes away his sweaty palms off the gun and looks at you, and he gives a little bit of a smile of gratitude. He says, I don't understand why you're here, but I'm not complaining. Not complaining at all.
Uh, you guys encountered the DBs not too long ago, correct?
Jesus, yeah. Talk
Yeah.
about into the fire, out of the frying pan into the fire situation.
Well, you heard that they have this whole prophecy thing and all of that.
I didn't know. He says they were ranting about crazy things, about taking human skulls and they Rhonda and just I don't understand it.
Yeah. Well, long story short, we heard a different part of that prophecy, but we're here to try and prevent it.
Hey, you're here. That's all that matters. He says, and he kind of gives another weak smile.
Hmm. And
Um,
while this interaction is going on, just really quickly, I want Tom to take
yeah,
out the e-clip, put it back in, and I want him to check what's in the secondary chamber.
nothing. It's empty.
Damn. Okay. Then he's gonna put the gun back together and all of that stuff.
Okay. Neil and Patrick, what would you guys like to do during this time? If
Um,
you had anything, if you have anything specific, if not, I mean, I got plenty for them to talk about. Trust me.
Mila will wander over to Patrick
Mm-hmm.
and be like,
Beer's nearby you too, by the way.
"What should we do?"
I I'm not sure. I'm sure I'm going to be transporting a few. Um,
Should we get the babies to someplace safe?
yes. We should probably see who needs mobility most. Um, how have you been? I saw you
What?
get um
What?
you got a he's gonna point at the singe mark where you got hit.
Oh, yeah, I was angry, but then I saw them and they seemed like they were scared. And so I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed, but it happens.
um Patrick will almost like he's hearing supreme knowledge nod with close intent.
Mm,
um and say we'll ask Al and then we'll start
ask
moving.
Al. Mila looks over and sees Al running around like a maniac.
Hmm.
Maybe we shouldn't ask
Well,
Al.
well, at this time, if it's okay if I interrupt you guys for a little
Yeah.
bit, because both Ivy and Louie would be approaching you at this point once they see that Al's taking care of the wounded.
Alright.
And we can even say Tom has come back with his weapon at this point after his brief conversation with David.
Mm.
And by the way, all this conversation, I mean, this is a close area, and people are not chatting up a storm. So Al, while you're stitching people up, while you're applying the solve, while you're dealing with stuff like that, you'll be able to overhear the general conversation.
Got it.
Heads up that. And Ivy kind of takes her helmet off, and you can see both her and her brother appear to be of more Asian persuasion, genetically speaking. They are not the tallest individuals. They are about 5'7" or so. Ivy's about a foot shorter. They have jet black hair, completely straight. Ivy's is cut short and like a pixie cut, while David's is a little bit longer and a little bit more tousled. Both of them look extremely fatigued. And Ivy begins the conversation of, when that fucking bird just showed up in my lap and started spitting out coordinates, I thought I finally fucking lost it. But here you are. God, thank you so much. We were at our wits' end. This was gonna be our last goddamn stand. Those things have been after us for days.
So, what happened exactly?
Ivy looks over to her brother, and he says, I guess, well, start at the beginning. There was a small mechanical problem with the open bay doors on Ozone Prime. They weren't shutting properly. And sure enough, of course, bad luck spurns even worse work. And we scouted a bunch of those flying bug creatures ahead. We tried to get the door closed in time, but there was no luck. Before they breached, we came up with a small plan. Well, honestly, it was mostly Frederick's plan. Frederick, by the way, for a refresher, is the English fellow, one of the few folks from orbit who didn't return. He was the engineer. He was the one that you found dead in the reactor room.
Hmm.
Louis continues. Mostly Frederick's plan. He said he figured these things couldn't handle high doses of radiation. And Rhonda said that she could cook up some chlorine gas real quick in the medical wing. As they started to do that, we looked for a route out. We knew you had your behemoth. We knew if we had to evacuate, because, God, there was a lot of them. A lot of these fucking bugs, these eyes. Anyway, we figured our best protection was to use your robot vehicle. Ivy could kind of pilot it, so we all assembled, all of us, got together, and got there, and before we knew it, the power went out. The chlorine came in. Rhonda got in through the doors just at the nick of time, but we couldn't wait around for Frederick. The power was completely cut off. We had to blast our way out. We decided to go for Liberty. That was the closest town. Peyton. He did some trading there. He knew some people there. We got within a day of our journey, and then we were attacked by some giant fucking rhino buffalo, if you can believe it. Those things are supposed to be in the plains, for Christ's sake. I haven't seen one of those in years, and nothing that close. And it tore into us. God, it tore into us. I'm sorry about the behemoth, but we were on a fight of our goddamn lives. We had to completely disengage from it, finally, after a while. And we had to skirt around Liberty. It was too dangerous around there. So we decided to go for Winter's Outpost. But we took it slow. We took it careful. We rationed out our food. We got here, 3-4 days ago? And Ivy nods her head, and she continues the story. She says, and we come across these DBs, and they're all nervous. They're all skittish. They're warning us that it's not safe there, that one of their leaders has, gone nuts and are hurting human beings. We needed food, though. We traded some of your belongings, some of that shiny claw of yours, plus a weapon and some E-clips, for as much food as we could carry. They said that even that we had our numbers, even with the robot vehicle, that this Serena woman and her people were too powerful, that she had some sort of strange power, and they wanted to sacrifice human beings to stop some swarm. I don't understand it. Maybe they were afraid of the Zytekik too. But we left. Sure enough, we caught a tail. We tried to lose them in the mountains, but they came after us, and fuck, these things are patient. We would disengage, and when we thought we lost them, they'd spring up again. Hurling grenades, they finally got the last of our ship, last of that leg, and we were able to limp down to a secure area. We tried to hide it as best we could, but we knew we were just sitting ducks. We took everything that we could, and we figured we'd go on foot. That's when we found the ditch here, and poor Steph, she couldn't take another step. Everyone was hungry and tired, and we figured that was it for us. Then you came in like a goddamn miracle. Thank you. You said you found Peyton?
Yeah, He was taken by one of the DB things.
And
He's okay. He's a little shooken up, but he's okay.
okay. And Louis says, "What about Rhonda? Did you find Rhonda, or Sean, or Elsie?"
He was the only one we found.
They, although they are very happy, weary, but happy to see you, you can see both their shoulders sink a little bit. The wind deflated out of their scales. And they look to each other. And Ivy says, "They're as good as dead." And Louis says, "You don't know that. They don't take them alive. If they wanted to just kill us, they would have killed us. They're trying to take us alive for some fucking reason."
Mila says nothing. She kind of looks over at the other two guys.
There's a long... Oh, sorry, unless the other two guys want to say something. And Bear just stands silently. In fact, he's kind of pacing around. In fact, he's actually probably withdrawn. Mila,
Yeah.
your Nora side would recognize this. This is something that Bear always used to do. Either it was a force of habit. He explains that it makes him feel better. Makes his mind at ease. But he's gone back to the path that you guys went, and he's trying his best to mask the tire tracks, to mask the foot tracks. And he's actually purposely cutting off areas of the branches, the ones that were undergo laser fire, and collect them. He's trying to cover your trail as best he can. And he's always habitually done this whenever there's been some downtime, unless anyone purposely tries to engage with them. Anyway, Mila looks to Patrick, to Tom.
Patrick would actually note, I would have a pretty good guess about what they're going to try to do. Where and when, I would not do, but was. I think we've gotten some info on that.
They both look at you expectantly.
They said something about having the skull of humans burned to black as an offering of some kind. I'm assuming they have some sort of furnace to burn people.
Mila's eyes widen and she stares at Patrick. She doesn't have the best social grace, but she knows it's probably not best to inform the people who are in shock that bit of information.
Patrick is Patrick.
I know.
Yeah, Patrick is Patrick. And Ivy looks stoically, but Louis is clearly shaken by this news, and he goes, "Jesus, fucking monsters. I can't believe it." Out of curiosity, this is just a random question that I could totally look up on my own. Actually, wait. I am going to look it up on my own, god damn it.
Oh,
Don't mind me.
you're an independent GM. You don't need no man.
I'm damn straight.
Mm-hmm.
All right, anyway.
I'm head swiveling right now.
I can tell.
Good.
When we were talking to some of the guys at the village, they were saying that their seer that has gone crazy is over in some directions, so we know the general direction, but the thing is, we have all of you to take care of. I'm not sure if we can mount a rescue for 3 people.
Mila now gives that same look to Tom. Maybe if things go without saying, Mila has learned a few things, at least from her travels with the group, and knows that sometimes maybe it's best not to say certain things to people who are suffering from severe shock.
Ivy grits her teeth, and she says, "It's a bitter pill to swallow, but you're right. It's best to write them off as dead." Louis, on the other hand, he shakes his head. He looks to Ivy. He says, "Would you say that if it was me that they captured instead of Rodna? Instead of Elsie?" Hell, instead of Sean? She kind of looks at him blankly. And Louis looks around and he says, "Listen, you're a savior, so I am going to tell you what to do. But, I mean, if there's a chance, I think we should take it. But, well, we're not in really great condition. So, um,
Well, let's get everything sorted here first, and then we'll go from there. We can't do anything
Yeah.
if everyone's
We'll
dropping dead here.
okay.
yeah, we need to get everybody back to the Rhapsody, and we will
What's a rhapsody?
Yes.
our ship.
Well, like another behemoth?
No.
No, the behemoth will fit inside.
They take a moment. A starship?
Yes.
Jesus, you have a starship? Phil says, and there's a glint of hope, a glint of excitement in his voice.
We do, and we will be more than happy to help you. But
Okay.
we need to get the sick and injured back to the ship first.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
All
I'm fairly certain that we'll at least we'll we'll talk about going to this camp after we get to the ship, but the priority is to get to the ship. Um, he's gonna speak up a bit. Al, how's the patching up going?
Al's putting on the last bit of the protein salve on the last person.
Al says, "Well, most of them can move except for her. We'll need to try and set up." GM, here's a question. Inside the ATV, is there enough room to lay someone down?
Yes,
maybe
but
in the
they
back
take
seat?
up the entire back seat.
Okay. Al would say, "We're gonna have to put her in the ATV in the back seat, and I'll have to be there to monitor her, but everyone else should be okay." And then he'll look at the ones that are injured, and he'll say, "I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to push yourselves just a little bit further."
They all give understanding nods. A baby cries in the distance.
All right, let's get everybody situated and head out.
Okay. Ivy and Louie assist the rest of the survivors in getting organized. They make sure to pick up everything that they took with them. You're able to, together as a group or whomever, is able to gently bring the person, the highly injured woman, into the back seat. Al's there too to monitor vital signs. After transporting her into the vehicle, it doesn't look like her signs have dipped at all. In fact, her pulse looks a little bit stronger just by a couple points, but it's better than nothing. And is it okay if I just slip more to a narrative sense?
Sure.
Do it.
Okay. You're able to, with Bear leading the way, and Tom as well, you are able to easily retrace your steps and get back to the behemoth. Thankfully, the Rhapsody is still there to the south of it, and Blink is able to report that they haven't seen or heard of any other more of these Dai-Yil things. The Northern Gun light labor robot is still happily away. Right now it's like dealing with the internal mechanisms of the leg of the behemoth. It's only been there and back, it's probably been about an hour's time. Okay? And it's made some decent headway. What would you guys like to do next? Oh, wait. Let me color the scene a little bit more, of course. As the L Zone Prime survivors get within sightline of the giant ship that is sitting there in the forest. You hear an audible gasp from several of them. And Louis and Ivy themselves actually give like a surprised laugh at that. And they say, you actually hear Ivy say, "Look at that thing. I haven't seen anything so beautiful in my life. It's better than the ships that even left here. Holy shit. I don't understand. I thought there was some sort of barrier around orbit, but you guys seem to have broke through just fine."
Well, like my teacher used to say, there's more than one way to skin a cat, and there's more than one way to get back to Earth. And to get from Earth.
Okay, yeah, sure. They just simply reply, but they're all still just stupefied looking at the Rhapsody. And actually, everyone takes a moment to just stare at this big, beautiful thing. All right, what do you guys want to do next?
Patrick rolls down the window.
Uh,
He leans out of it. Tom,
What?
why are you getting taught how to skin cats?
No, that's just a phrase that the firebrand taught me. You don't always have to do everything one way. There's multiple ways to do anything.
But why skinning cats?
I don't know. He confused me the first time he used it.
I can see that. As he then goes back and rolls back up the window.
Delightful. Okay, what do you guys want to do next?
I think the
We
appropriate.
can stay in this narrative space, so you can tell me what you guys generally want to do. But I don't want, tell your characters what they're doing.
I think the appropriate next step would be to get everybody situated in the Rhapsody's loading area.
Yeah, Al would want to be transferring everyone to the medical ward.
Okay,
Everybody
so
that's injured.
if we,
Yeah, no, everyone.
so if you recall, Squee, there is one surgical, I guess you could say, platform, right, and 3 monitoring stations. And the
Mhm.
Baron is on the surgical platform, tied down like crazy. You have 4 patients.
Al is
You
going
have 3 free
to.
beds.
Al's going to put the worst ones on the beds, and the one that I guess has the leg wound, have him sit down. And as they go in, obviously, since I'm sure it would raise some suspicions or questions,
Yeah, why there's an unconscious man tied like a dozen times with straps? Yeah.
Al would very simply
Definitely get some
say
looks.
he's being affected by some sort of magic spell. We think he's alive, but we're not sure. We need to eventually go get him help, but considering that he was quite hostile to us when we found him, best to leave him tied up.
They give nods and understanding. The guy with the leg wound says, "Jesus, are we gonna get? I mean, uh, is the spell bad? Has the spell passed? Is he still under the influence of it?"
Well, I'm still a beginner when it comes to magic, but from what I understand, it would have to have been directed towards you. I believe he ate something.
Oh. That's the only reply you get. All right,
I have
what
a
else,
question for you, Squee.
Yes.
Would you mind? Well, I will offer this to you out of character. If you wish,
Hmm.
we can unbuckle the Baron and have Tom be there in his Mystic Power armor. Every once in a while, using the magical net to make sure that if he does wake up, he is still restrained.
Yeah, well, it would be best to get him out of the place where people will be recuperating. That is certainly a thing. I guess the question would be: is there a room on the Rhapsody that we can seal, kind of use like a jail cell or something, where he doesn't have access to internal systems?
Well,
Not a prison ship,
with the
obviously.
exception of no, there's no brig. You do know, with the exception of a few of your personal quarters, Bear's room in particular doesn't have any sort of internal computing equipment. Your medical bay does. Yeah, that and no, even the cargo bay has computers. It's a very, very open area. Interestingly enough, Bear's personal quarters is the only enclosed room that doesn't have any sort of computer access to the ship, because Bear didn't want any.
Al will say, Tom, can you ask Bear if we can use his room for now?
Good idea.
All right. Bear is located with the survivors, milling around the cargo area of the ship. He's standing by a gentleman who is clutching one of the little babies in his hand, and Burr has the little baby is conscious now, awake, and it's actually gripping a big furry finger of Bear's, and it's like wiggling it back and forth, and you kind of see Bear has a bit of a smile in it. If Mila's nearby, he'll actually look to Mila and he'll say, "This reminds me of you." Mm-hmm. I mean, it's okay. It's
You're
okay.
terrible.
Oh, the stream couldn't even hear me. Mila would smile. Oops.
Right.
Okay. All right.
I will approach Bear.
Mm-hmm. He'll look to you.
Hey, I know this is kind of unorthodox and probably a lot to ask, but would it be okay if our special guest from space were to perhaps be restrained to your room for now? Because we have so many people that require medical attention.
Bear looks to you. He looks around at all the people gathered here, and he says, "Yes, of course."
Tom will nod and say, "Thank you. We will
You're
we'll make
welcome.
sure to get him back into the infirmary, lockdown, and all of that when the
Bear
beds are
shakes
no
his
longer
head,
needed."
and he says, "I was never comfortable, the most comfortable, in that small steel box. It is fine. Take all the time you need."
Okay. And Tom will walk back to the medical bay and go to Al. Well, it looks like somebody's going to be restrained to Bear's quarters for a bit.
Al will nod absent-mindedly as he concentrates on the patients, and he'll say, "Thanks, Tom."
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Tom
We
will
can
start
just
Hmm?
Sure. We can just say you move it to Bear's room, you secure it, you make sure the locking mechanism, on the outside and is on the outside, and
Yeah.
he's as tight as can be, sitting on Bear's bed or laying on Bear's bed. Okay. Now the only question is he going to be? Are you going to try to restrain him on Bear's bed as well, or no?
That's what I was kind of thinking.
Okay.
I kind of want to do that, but I don't know what materials we have. I have
Yeah.
handcuffs, space
Okay.
made handcuffs. I'm not entirely sure if they would actually fit over his legs as well.
They would fit over his ankles, but not his entire legs. No.
Well, yeah, I meant his ankles.
Sure.
I
Then
am going
yes.
to use both pairs of handcuffs over his wrists and his ankles and
Okay.
restrain him.
Great. Done. Okay, so Al has everyone stabilized and in recovery in the medical bay. All right. Many of the survivors are kind of around in the cargo area. The question is now, with Ivy and Louis Tengfang being kind of the leaders, the speakers for this group, the individuals that all of them really turn to. So they'll broach the subject once you've gathered and you've gotten all the little bits taken care of. And they'll say, okay, what's next?
Well, the behemoth is going to take a couple of days in order to be fixed enough to get it onto this ship.
Well, hold up a tick on that one. The question would be, and since we're in this narrative space, of course, uh, if Patrick would check in on the light labor bot's progress.
He will most likely do that when he has the chance to.
Okay.
Mainly so he can also assist with repairs for his downtime.
Oh, okay. All right. So I guess the big question is downtime, but to help color or give you a little bit more information, um, make me a mechanics skill check, Piph.
Okay, there. Mechanical should be that.
Oh wow.
71. Okay. Judging on the robot's progress in the past hour and its focus on the internal mechanisms of the leg, you're thinking that it'll take it about 8 hours to make it so that the leg is at least operational to move. If you decide to assist it, and both of you work in tandem, cut that time in half, 4 hours, which means 3 hours remaining or 7 hours on its own. So with that new bit of information, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Byrne, but I didn't want you to assume it'd be 1 or 2 days after, the expert gave his assessment on it.
Yeah. Well,
Mhm.
I think it would be more fitting that Tom would speak up and go, it'd probably take a couple of days, and then Patrick interrupts and goes, actually, it'll be 7 or 3 if I help it, or something like that.
Well,
Do you
I'll
think
leave it
that
up to
would
you
be
guys.
appropriate? Piff?
Yeah, Patrick will probably pipe up and say something along the lines of, depending on how much I'm needed elsewhere, it should take 5, maybe 3 hours.
Wow. Okay. Um, Once we get the behemoth on the ship, then we're planning on taking off. Either, well, the big question is, and he's going to look to the Tangfis and to the rest of the group. What do we do about the missing people? The people who have been captured.
We gotta find him.
All
Uh,
right.
and Louis gives a vehement nod at that, and even Ivy takes a look around the ship. She gives a bit of a nod too.
Al, what are your thoughts?
Well, it would probably be bad form of us to not at least attempt to see if we can rescue them. Um, I say if we're going to rescue everyone, let's try and get everyone.
Okay. Patrick?
Oh, I also would like to help. That would change the time to about 7 hours of repair.
Okay. So you want us, you're for having us leave immediately. Patrick.
Yes, we do need to get back eventually. Um, the robot will overheat if not on some kind of cooldown.
Hmm. Okay. All right, then
They'll
I
need to
guess
work
we're
for a straight 24 hours before it overheats. Maybe even more. So the 7 hours won't be a problem.
Mhm.
all right. So how are we gonna go about this? Are we gonna take the Rhapsody? Or are we gonna go on the ground?
Patrick raises up a hand.
Hmm?
Patrick.
Where are we going?
To rescue the 3 individuals that were captured. Probably going to be to the, if I recall correctly, Inferno, it was the west of the village?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
In
Into the
outcropping
hills.
in the hills to the west of the village. There are no actual numbers that we know of the religious zealots, but do we want to take the Rhapsody or not? It's going to take a while if we go on land. That's the only thing.
Hmm.
Well, will we be able to even track them from the Rhapsody?
Probably not.
If now, I have a question. While you guys plan here, it's entirely up to you whether you want your NPC companions, August, Alicia, Blink, Bear, to participate in this.
Yes.
Let me know if you do or if you don't.
I would definitely like all 4 to be there.
Okay.
I don't mind.
All right. Good. 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 So then,
Wait,
the answer
even
to that
August?
question, yeah, even August, he would definitely be curious, right? I mean, he's not gonna just stay alone in his room while there's a bunch of people. I mean, this is an exciting time, right?
Be alive.
But yeah, yes, Criana, it's an exciting time to be alive. All right. But Blink will say, well, considering that there has to be a group of them, means they gotta live somewhere, right?
Yeah. Hmm. Oh. Oh, I just remembered something, and this is in character. I just remembered something that I noticed back at the village. These creatures run hot. Specifically in the village, they were fueling a great fire. And if I get close enough, I can tell you their approximate location, if they do have a fire like that.
Bear says, oh, sorry, no, go ahead, Patrick.
That is good. It depends on which area they're going to choose to do this, and depending on the route of the man that came to the village. But if he came directly from and to uh, his main tribe to the one that we were at, we could probably get a estimation on where they are.
Yeah.
Bear says, track him. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
it'll work. Alicia pipes up. Oh, we could always just use the Rhapsody too. Do a flyby.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I like that idea. I wasn't really for it before because we were going to be trapped. I thought we were going to be trapped here for a couple of days, but if we're only going to be here for a few hours, then the risk is definitely worth it. I like that idea. What do you guys think?
I think that if they're going to, if they have plans for these people, we don't know how quickly they intend to enact them. So anything that helps us find them faster, the better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe throw a few more cautions to the wind. People's lives are better than maybes and ifs.
Yeah. Um,
I would say bring
August
the
pipes
Rhapsody.
up. August gives a nod to Patrick's comment, and he says, "It's true. In order to make an educated opinion on something, you require all the variables. There are too many unknowns here."
I say
Alicia
that we
rolls her eyes. Sorry, I cut you off each time because we both start talking at the same time. I'm sorry. Yes, Patrick. Sorry.
I say that we use the Rhapsody. I think it might be the quickest, most direct way, even though it may have some consequences.
Yeah.
Bear does nod. They will see and hear us, but we will be in the sky. But they will be alert.
Damn it. I really wish that the Rhapsody had more than just radar. That was in character, by the way. Thermal imaging would be so good for this.
August says, if you give me a proper thermal imaging unit, I can see how well it integrates into the sensory systems. No promises, of course. The Rhapsody is far and above higher tech than most common things, but I always like a challenge.
Well, we would have to take a look at the one on the Behemoth, see how trashed it is. But that would take time.
Pretty bad. Yeah.
Yeah. But it might cut out the time that it takes to search. I don't know.
August gives an impatient shake of his head and raises a hand in a prissy fashion, and he says, even if it was in full repair, it would take me days of study, and I can't do anything if it's just a bunch of scrap.
Yeah.
Wait. Do we have any of those multi-optic bands still on the Behemoth?
There was a bunch installed into the body armors. I think there might have been one extra.
Oh God, I'm losing names, everyone. August.
Yeah.
Would one of those work, or do you need something bigger?
No, I need something bigger, I'm afraid. I mean, the range on those are limited. It's for personal, ocular. No. I need something that uses the ship sensors, not just, eyes.
Okay, well, it's a good idea for the future, but I don't know if it's going to help us in the here and now.
No.
All I really need to do is get within half a mile if they have a open flame.
Well, then let's get you within half a mile.
Yeah, I have the Mystic Power Armor, which can fly. He's gonna point to Mila and Al. You both can fly in your Star Screams.
Al's face looks sour.
If you want to.
He doesn't say anything.
I don't know what to do with Patrick. We would have to land.
What do we do with Patrick?
How do you solve a problem like a Patrick? How do you get him to not fly and fall away?
What we should do is try and we take the Rhapsody, we go to the bottom of the foothills, we see if I pick anything up. If I can't, then we go from the route between the hills and the village and see if we can track them through their tracks, because they usually leave burning tracks.
Okay. I'm going to pause here just for a second. I'm going to pause things here just for a second. I believe, Criana, this is probably around the time that you have to depart for us, right? And enjoy your fine Easter celebrations. Okay.
Yes.
So our question is this, guys. Would the remainder players like to continue on with the adventure and just have someone else stream? Or, and Criana, would you be cool with that? Or,
I'm totally fine with that.
Okay, cool.
Sure, I'm good with that.
Sure. So then how about we just take a pause? So for those of you watching the stream, we'll be back soon. And for those of you watching the videos, go ahead and watch the next video.
And to everyone on the stream, I am so sorry. I think this might be the last time I'm going to be streaming. If my companions have not seen the stream yet, maybe you should open up the window and refresh.
God damn it.
Have you been drawing all over our stream?
Oh, God damn it, you're putting Nick Cage over the... God damn it.
I don't see a problem here.
I'll see you guys next week!